Okay, so I haven't uploaded for a while, so sorry about that. That's because I've been doing something else, which is quite important. But anyway, I'm back on schedule with uploading. So I'm gonna make another Home Sweet Home sign. So I got my pack of templates here. I've made one already, but this one, the one I made is for us. So this one I'm gonna make for my grandma, and I actually made it the first one at my grandma's house. So I'm gonna make this for my grandma, this sign. So it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be exactly the same. But I don't know. I'm just gonna film this for you guys. I'm gonna try and make it look as good as I can. So we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna start cutting the pieces. Okay, I'm gonna be cutting my pieces at. I'm gonna get 3 pieces out of this board at 13 inches. I wrote it on my hand. So I've got to max it out first. Okay, so I've got a foot section, 3 sections which are a foot long, and I've got a little off-cut square which will just go. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. We live right next to a road, busy road. So, yeah. So I'll have a little off-cut which will just go in the bin or scrap bin, depends. So that noise is so annoying. So anyway, what was it? Oh yeah, so anyway, I don't have that much wood at the moment, so I will be putting a lot of my stuff into the scrap bin instead of the shop bin, because I need to save wood, because I haven't got that much, and I can't really buy much wood at the moment for a reason. So I'm just using a tri-square to get clear markings. Alright, my table is a bit of a mess because I haven't tidied it up. I ain't really had enough time. So yep, we're now gonna cut our pieces on the jigsaw table. The problem with the jigsaw table is, because I've got a temporary solution with clamps, that it bumps up with the clamps, so I can't get a straight cut. So that's the only problem with this. So we might have to figure out a way to do this. The blade's quite small as well on this. I think it will rise. I think it's just in a small position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get another thing to prop that up over there. Okay, I propped this up with some paint cans. This is very sketchy though. I've done that because if I remove them paint cans, this plank will just fall. So then I'll have to be putting constant pressure on that to keep the plank up, which I don't want to do. I just want to be able to slide it through. But the plank is obviously bigger than the surface. So that is what's going to happen if I don't have the paint cans. So this is sketchy. So yeah, I'm going to try my best to cut this as neat as I can. So let's just try and do it. Okay, that was quite a bad cut, but I think it's okay. And it looks like we have a nice piece of pine inside once you get past all this rustic outside. So yeah, this actually looks quite a good, decent piece of wood here. Doesn't look rotted at all. From the outside, it does look rotted and decayed, but inside, actually, it is a perfect piece of wood. And it's not rotted one bit. So, anyway, I've still got 2 more cuts to do. Got one there, and got one there. So, I'm going to make them cuts now. It should be easier now I've shortened the length of the board. So, let's do it. Okay, that cut was successful. We got a little bit of wood on the outside, which take care of with a knife. Okay, so now it's looking very good. That's a nice cut. You can see here where it started, what we did with the jigsaw table, and you can see here with the curving saw. You can see the curving saw just improved it a lot. You can see the improvements as you look down the wood. So, I don't know if we should do, I think we should do this with the handsaw again. Because the jigsaw, and arranged in the order I want them. I'm going to take my templates. These templates were just copied or traced off the computer screen. So you can easily do that at home if you wanted to make a sign how I'm doing it. So it's the same pattern as last time. Well, it's basically the exact same sign, but I'm just showing you a bit more in depth this video. So before we actually do this, we want to find some backing, some at least 2 strips here and here, so we can join all of these together on the backs. Okay, I decided to use one of my last pieces of 3mm plywood I have available. So, I don't actually need this much. This piece, even though it's about the size of it, will do. Because I'm going to just make sure that I just have enough to grip onto each side. So I can cut this in half and easily use each piece for this project. So I'm just going to mark out where I want to cut it. And make sure the remaining few on there, but I know which one's right. So I'm going to cut that on my jigsaw table. Okay, now I've done that. Now I've got my 2 pieces, which you can see fit on nice. So I can put a screw there, and there, and there. So that's perfect. So now that I've done that, I need to flip these upside down so I'm at the back and put them on. Okay, I'm going to use 4 of these tiny screws for each strip, so I've got 8 in total. And they're only about, I don't know, centimetre flat. Actually, that one's a bit bigger. I need to get another one. They're about less than a centimetre, just about that. So I'm going to screw them in with a screwdriver. I'm going to do it by hand because I think the drill will put too much pressure on the plywood because it's very thin. Okay, now that I've got all the boards attached by the 2 strips of plywood underneath, what I'm going to do now is I'm transferring the letters onto the boards so I can have a outline to pin. Okay, so now that I've got the pencil outlines on, as you can see, I'm going to now pin it with a pot of white acrylic paint. So because it's acrylic, this can be used indoors or outdoors. Okay, so the sign is assembled and painted. I've just finished painting, so the paint is still wet. And this looks really nice. It's the exact same as the last one, like I've already said. But this looks a really nice sign still. I really like this. So this sign is from my grandma, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is the finished thing. So now you know how to make a sign, a home sweet home sign if you want to make one, copy my instructions, and that's the back. Just if you wanted to have a look, I just put one screw in each piece of the board. So that's it. So, hope you like that. Bye.